Welcome back. You know, this morning we are digging deeper into the new SAFE-T Act, which takes effect January 1st.
Yeah, if you're just joining us this morning in our last hour, Dan Kirk, a former high-ranking prosecutor at the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, spoke specifically about this new law that has led nearly 250 state's attorneys to resign. Now, he's back with us this hour to talk about some specific scenarios. So thank you again for your patience. Thanks for coming back. I want to get right into this, and I want to begin with a specific scenario for our viewers, and we're going to start with a kidnapping. And to that end, in this instance, a suspect pulls a woman into a van against her will. He holds her until he decides what to do with her. So this is obviously a kidnapping. Now, the good news is she gets away. She gives police a description. The suspect is caught, arrested, and charged. What happens next?
Unless the state chooses to ask that the person be detained, and the state can prove that the person has a specific intention to flee the jurisdiction, that individual cannot be detained in jail prior to trial under this act.
That is shocking to a lot of people, and that I think is what highlights the concern here, and thinking a lot of people feel that this person would then go to jail and be held until their trial. All right, let's go over scenario number 2. We've got a graphic we want to put up here. This person is charged with a deadly aggravated DUI. A defendant driving a car, and this car then plows into a school bus. Multiple school children are killed here. Now, there are witnesses. They saw the defendant drinking before he got behind the wheel of the car. And then there are witnesses at this crash. And the breathalyzer shows that he is 3 times the legal limit. You go to court. He's before the judge. What happens?
Similarly, unless the state can prove that person has a specific intention, like a airline ticket in hand, to flee the jurisdiction, that individual cannot be held in custody because of this new so-called SAFE-T Act after January 1st. That person is out of jail.
They're free to walk the streets, get behind the car, wheel of a car, potentially drinking again.
Yes.
Wow.
All right, so this next one may ring familiar to a lot of Chicagoans. We're talking about burglary. In this instance, here's the graphic. A victim comes home from work to find the home's been ransacked and burglarized. An investigation turns up DNA evidence that links the crime to a 5-time convicted burglar. Home security cameras show it's the guy. He's arrested. He goes to bond court. Can a judge hold him with this mounting evidence?
No. In this circumstance, like the others, the SAFE-T Act acts as a get out of jail free card, unless the state can prove, again, that this person has a specific intention to flee the jurisdiction.
Wow. All right. Scenario number 4. This one involves a felony involving school threats. Got a graphic for this one, too. We got an angry high school teenager. This happens a lot, actually. The teenager calls the principal and says everybody who's in the building today is going to be sorry they came to the school, implying something violent is about to happen. He hangs up the phone. They figure out who this kid is, teenager. He's identified. He's arrested. And people are worried he's not stable, but he could come back to class. Should the parents of the other children be worried here?
They should be worried. Let's pretend that person is an adult, and I don't want to involve the juvenile system when they do it. So let's pretend that they're 18 years old. They cannot be held in custody based upon the circumstances of that case. It's not the type of forcible felony that would have a sentence of incarceration if they were convicted. So the only way that the state can hold them is if the state proves that individual has a specific intention to flee, which is a very, very high standard and will be almost impossible to prove in any of these circumstances. How many times are you going to have a defendant that has an airline ticket in hand or says to the judge, I plan on leaving? That's just simply not going to happen. That's why this act is so ridiculous and poorly written.
All right, this next one speaks to the times. Let's talk about hate crimes. A defendant caught spray painting swastikas on a Jewish synagogue. He's got a history of doing this. He's caught, he's arrested, he's charged. He gets to court. What happens?
He gets to bond court and he's immediately released. He cannot be detained again unless the state can prove that he has a specific intention to flee the jurisdiction. So he gets out.
Wow. Well,
He's not held at all prior to trial.
I just want to clarify, one thing, because these scenarios really paint for the viewers the concerns that prosecutors and some judges do have about this. There are multiple jurisdictions where prosecutors are concerned, not just here locally, but around the state, right, Dan?
Yes. So, what's interesting about this, I recently heard Governor Pritzker talking at his editorial board interview with Cranes, and he claimed that any opposition to this was just simply Republican propaganda. In the interest of full disclosure, I'm a registered Democrat. I've been a registered Democrat all of my adult life. I live in Chicago. I'm here to tell you that this is horrible, but more importantly, out of the 102 state's attorneys in the state of Illinois, 100 out of 102 of them vehemently opposed this bill, and they are Democrats and Republicans. There are 23 Democrats among those elected state's attorneys who oppose this. So the opposition to this is quite bipartisan. The opposition is coming from professional law enforcement career people who know that this is a blueprint for disaster, and it's going to further erode public safety across the state of Illinois. Okay. And that is not what we need right now when we're facing a public safety crisis.
We got to end it there, Dan Kirk. Again, thank you so much for your time. I do want to let our viewers know, yes, this is a two-sided coin. There's another argument here. We're going to bring you that argument here on Good Day Chicago, those who are actually in favor of the SAFE-T Act. But Dan, you have illuminated us to a lot of very specific scenarios. And again, we thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.